Welcome back, everyone. This video is for Chapter 6, Part 8. You will learn about how the flow and execution of a function works. You're going to also learn about void functions. This slide lists a few key statements regarding the flow and execution of a function. Execution always begins at the first statement in function main. So that's where the actual execution of the program starts. The first statement in function main. You've been doing that since semester started. Other functions are executed only when called. Function prototypes appear before any function definition. Remember, the function prototype is used before function main and just lets the compiler know the full body of the function or the full definition of the function is after function main. The compiler translates the prototypes first before it even starts with function main. The compiler can then correctly translate a function call. So when you have your function call, it knows what the function is because it already compiled the function prototypes and is aware that there are functions after function main. This slide is the rest of the list of statements about the compilation and execution of a function. The first one says a function call transfers control to the first statement in the body of the called function. So you put in the function call, it goes to that function, and the very first statement is where it starts. When the end of a called function is executed, control is passed back to the point immediately following the function call. So you have a function call, and then whatever statement's right after it is where it comes back to. A function's returned value replaces the function call statement. So that function call is replaced by whatever the value that is returned. So if you have a return 7, then that value of 7 is what is replacing that function call. This slide introduces you to void functions. Void functions do not have a return statement. User-defined void functions can be placed either before or after function main. If user-defined void functions are placed after function main, the function prototype must be placed before function main. A void function does not have a return type. A return statement without any value is typically used to exit the function early. Here's more about void functions. Formal parameters are optional. That's what goes inside the parentheses. You don't have to have them. You could just have the parentheses with nothing there. A call to a void function is a standalone statement. A function definition of void functions with parameters has the following syntax. You have the word void. That means you're not going to use a return statement. So you have the word void, then you have your function name, and then whatever variables, for your parameters, okay? And then, of course, the statements of whatever you're doing inside your function. This slide contains the syntax information for void functions. So let's take a look at those. The formal parameter list syntax. Data type, you have this little ampersand, variable. Data type, ampersand, variable. Data type could be integer, double, whatever. We will talk about this little sign in a little bit. And then a variable. Data type, ampersand, variable. You need both the data type and the variable. Do notice that little and sign, right? We'll talk about that soon. Function call syntax. So this is if I want to call the function. Let's say that I want to make a call. I'm in function main and I want to call a function that prints out everything. So I would put this in function main. Okay? So this would be whatever the name of the function, I'd say call it print function. And then I would put my parameters if I need any. I may not need any parameters. It just depends on how I design my function, right? So I'd have my list of my variables if I need them. And then your actual parameter list syntax. Actual parameter list is the list that's in the function call right here. Okay? So what would it look like? Well, you'd have either an expression like 72, a value, or a variable, an expression or a value, or the variable, right? And you'd have a comma between them, and you can have as many as you need. Just like the value returning functions, the number of actual parameters with the data types like integer, double, must match the formal parameters in the same order. So here's your formal, and whatever order this is in, these must be in the same order. They have to match, have the same number and the same order. All right, this is the end of Chapter 6, Part 8 video. In Part 9, you'll learn about a few additional online tutorials for functions. You will also learn about reference variables for parameters. So I'll see you there.